you for having me, especially to Kim and Damien, and it's just an honour to hear both your stories. And I know that I'm in awe of these two, and I think that you all will be after you hear their stories. So, without further ado, how are you both doing today?
Great.
You good?
Yeah, really good.
Okay, good. And
Very well. Very nervous, but very
good. Okay. And I guess we heard a little bit earlier about what it was like without our volunteers during lockdown. Are there any, on the positive side, are there any skills that you developed during lockdown we should know about?
Well, I pretty much found myself in lockdown because it was just all me, and I was just sitting in my room and thought, what am I going to do? So I started creating structure in my day, started doing push-ups, started looking after myself, and just set little goals because I didn't want to just roll out of lockdown overweight. I wanted to actually do something and stay on top and have, so setting goals and working towards those goals was really beneficial.
Okay, you're feeling pretty good from it?
Yeah, for sure.
Great. Any for you, Kim?
Yeah, it was. I'm so nervous.
Take your time. Any push-ups?
No, I didn't do any push-ups. Patience, I've gained patience out of COVID, that's for sure. And I started working here at Osmond House, so that kept me occupied. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
A bit louder, just a bit harder for that, sorry.
Oh yeah, okay.
How many days a week were you here last year?
I was on a contract about 5 days a week.
Okay, so heavy load.
Yeah, heavy load.
Okay.
Kept me very busy. I was one of the lucky ones, so
Yeah. Okay.
gained employment out of COVID, so I was very grateful.
Yeah. So after that year and after some of the challenges, what's it like to come back and what's it like to reconnect to Osmond?
Well, it's different. I don't even know if we are back. It's like we're sort of back. It's sort of happening. People are here. The homeless resource centre's not open. So stuff's sort of bubbling to it. It's starting. Like I can see it starting to happen, but it doesn't feel that I have reconnected yet.
Yeah.
But I can see it coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that feels?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's still going to be a major part of my life.
Yeah.
Because it's worked for me for so long.
Yeah. Okay. And what about for you, Kim? What's it like to be back?
Well, I've always been connected to
Always been
Osmond
connected.
House.
Yeah.
So it's been great. I'd virtually be lost without it, So it was great starting volunteering and to gain employment. It was absolutely brilliant. So I never ever thought that would happen.
Okay.
So it started with volunteering.
So what first brought you to volunteering?
Well, I was in recovery for substance abuse. Then that was ending and I just didn't know what to do with myself. So one person said, how about volunteering? And I said, well, yeah, it'd be great, yeah. So I started volunteering at the old Osmond House.
Okay.
And when this one opened, I came here.
And what were you doing in that volunteer role? Early on?
Serving meals, yeah.
Okay.
Just cleaning up and that was great, yeah.
Okay.
Really enjoyed it.
We just got a little sign here saying, can we please talk louder? So we will try to elevate. And what brought you first to volunteering? How did you become involved with the house?
I had a wise woman tell me a long time ago, about 15 years ago, an old caseworker, who said that I needed to create some sort of structure in my day, because if I didn't, I'd get up to mischief.
Okay.
So, and mischief to me ended in misery in prison. So it was really about me creating something from nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I went into the old Osnum community centre for a meal, and one of the staff, I just sort of looked around and thought this would be a good place to volunteer. And Maria, the lady who was running the client volunteer program, was just such a great person, like just a magnetic personality, and had me out the back signing paperwork, and I was just doing shifts all of a sudden. So I was turning up doing stuff, and that was so important to me. And that brought me to, and it was also, so it was very much about me, what I need, what I get from volunteering, but it quickly became about being other-centred, and it quickly became about giving. But it was very much give and take, like the benefits, and it was really great.
Yeah. So, what were some of the roles that you were doing at the house, or that you've done? Because I know you've done quite a few, and some very interesting ones along the way.
Yeah, well, it was very basic in the beginning. It was just turning up for the breakfast shift
Yep.
because when I was homeless, breakfast was the most. If I could make the breakfast van, then I had a meal for the day. But if I turned up and it was driving off, I just couldn't get it together I couldn't get to another service provider for meals. So breakfast was always important to me. So turning up for breakfast, it was very basic stuff like cooking toast,
Yep.
cleaning up, washing dishes, and really just turning up.
Yeah. Probably like a lot of us started kind of starting off with something basic as chopping potatoes or doing dishes or something like that. Okay. So I guess in terms of the other theme of Volunteer Week, we were talking about how volunteering has helped you to reimagine your life and maybe the role that, where you've come from and what your life looked like before volunteering, and how this amazing volunteer opportunity has helped you to reimagine a new pathway. Maybe you could talk about that.
Look, volunteering gave me confidence in myself. Look, I'm a very quiet person. I really don't like to talk in front of people. But,
Excellent job.
and that's brought me out of my shell in a way. Because I was a bit lost. I didn't know what to do with myself. And volunteering just opened me up a bit more, to bring myself out and get to talk to people and find out their stories, tell them my story, and it's really enjoyable for me,
Okay. What about you, Damien? What about reimagining the path that you were on before you came to Ozanam?
Well, I didn't really know who I was. I'd been told for a long time, like every time I go into a rehab, they'd say to me, this time you need to figure out who is Damien? And it was like, it just never happened. I'd just go in there, just do the program, and then just forget about even thinking about who is Damien. I just had no idea of, I just never stopped to even think about it. So it's helped me figure out who I am. And lots of stuff, so much stuff along the way. I mean, like they did a barista course here. I was the first group who did the barista course, and I always thought, I'd love to be a barista, but it never went any further than just a thought bubble. And then it was, I'm a barista, and I'm training, and then I'm having practice, and then I'm serving, and to be able to serve coffee to people here, with a side of dignity and respect, and you give them their coffee, their name. And it's great, it's so important. And then where I come into it is like, I'll be up there and there'll be like dockets, so many dockets, and it's just all you can do is you just chip away at it. I was lucky I had people like Chris Gooden there, who runs a cafe, who's just said, you just keep going, you can only go as fast as the machine's going.
Yeah.
So when I'd see people who come in who were really not in a good place, and or really, really drug affected, and I'll just rush their order to the front because they don't have time to wait 20 minutes for a coffee. They don't. That's not how it works. So so I found myself in all of that sort of stuff.
So I guess I'm interested in, apart from the technical skills, like maybe you've now you can nailed a great coffee, and you've got some work out of that too, haven't you?
Yep.
Do you want to tell us a bit about your work and maybe some of the other softer skills that you've developed?
Yeah, well, I've gone from volunteering here. One of the other volunteers, like I just said, Chris Gooden runs a cafe, and I went and just talked to him about hospitality, and then I had a job in hospitality, and I was there for 6 years, and I'd never had a job for any years. It was always other dodgy stuff, and it was never tax planning stuff, and so I had a job, and that was still just turning up, and it was starting as a basic dishwasher, and then doing takeaway coffees, and then out on the floor running food, and then taking orders, and all of that process, I've, just talking to customers, it's really changed me, to grow as a person. And then from that, a few years in, I started getting, about 4 years in, it was time to move on, but then COVID hit, so I was sort of really grateful to be there during COVID, and to get out of my little bubble, and to sort of had somewhat interactions with people, so that was really beneficial for me. So then I now work as a peer support worker in a rehab, and that's all my lived experience. I'm being paid for that, and it's like just amazing. So it's all that whole pathway has got me to where I am today.
Okay, Can you tell us a bit about that peer worker job and how that feels to be doing that kind of work and what you get out of it?
It's so easy and it's just so normal, and it's just really good to be and not to be threatened by the clinical staff. It's like I'm not there to speak their language. I'm there to speak my language.
Yep.
And I can just share my experience, and I have so much experience. I have so many war stories, and and I love my stories. But now I can use my stories to help other people, and so well, when I did this,
Yeah.
this happened.
Yeah.
So think about that.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing. And Kim, maybe you could tell us about your role and how you got into your current role and what it's like to be in your current role, similarly to Damien. Have you had the same experiences where your lived experience has created new bonds?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I was a peer mentor at Quinn House, VincentCare as well, and that gave me great steading to coming into being an engagement worker here at Osborne House. So yeah, I could relate to people, understand where they're coming from, because I've been there myself. And it was a bit hard to start with, but yeah, as I settled into it and got the feel around the role, and volunteering helped me with that too, because I engaged with homeless every day. So that was brilliant. I really enjoy my work. Yeah.
Okay. What do you love about it?
Oh, fulfilment out of helping people. Yeah, that's a great thing. Yeah, makes you feel really good.
Yeah.
Sad sometimes.
Yeah.
You can't do everything you'd like to, but yeah, I really enjoy it. Yeah.
And then I guess on the third theme that Louise asked us to touch on, which is recognise. So I guess I'm really interested to hear from both of you about how volunteering has recognised the huge changes and the huge growth that you both have described. How has volunteering helped to recognise your own path and maybe recognise the impact that you've had on others?
Well, it's really hard not to be able to recognise what's changed, because everything's changed. It's so far from where I was at. My whole, 30 years of stuff. Everything I did was extreme, whether it was homelessness, it was chronically homeless, or it was everything, prison. It was just what it was, sort of thing. So now it's the opposite of all that. I have a great life. I have friends. I have family connections. It's just really hard not to be able to recognise regularly and see. Look, I still do have flashes. Like even when I cook my 5 or 6 days worth of food and put it in the fridge, it's like, oh, I'm cooking, because for a long time I just looked at my stove and thought, oh, I'm going to start cooking, and it was just a prop in the corner. I didn't cook for years. So now I'm saying I'm going to do this, and I actually do it. And then at the end of some days I think, oh, I was going to do this, and this, and I've done it all. It's like, who am I now? It's just amazing.
Sounds like the structure of the volunteering is just kind of just increased every year.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about the impact on the people around you as you've been through these changes? It sounds like you've probably impacted lots of people's lives. Can you recognise? Do you feel like that you can recognise that impact you've had on others?
I think so. I think that I'm actually present in conversations now. I'm not plotting to get away and escape, which is what I did for a long time. When people would call on the phone, I'd look at it and we'd be hoping to God just go to message bank. I wouldn't have to answer it. Because now I pick up the phone, now I call people, so I'm actually available. And that's
good.
Yeah. And there are a lot of changes I could feel along the way. Like friends of mine who I'd always say, oh, can you give me a lift here? Can you give me a lift there? Now I just don't ask, and they're like, oh, I thought you were going to. It's like, no, I'm okay, but thank you.
Like the self-worth
Yeah.
Okay. And what about you, Kim? What do you think about the role of recognition in recognising yourself and the impact you've had on others?
Well, myself, I have a home now for the first time in a long time. That was a great thing. Scary to start with, but I recognise myself there, that how much I've grown from a person, and that started through volunteering, meeting all the lovely people. It was great, It just amazes me, it scares me now where I am actually. It's I never thought ever that I would be a volunteer and actually be employed as an engagement worker to continue to help people. And through COVID was very hard. That was very difficult because a lot we couldn't do to help people. But it's getting better, I think. I think it's getting better. You always try and do the best you can. So, yeah.
And what about, do you feel like you can recognise the impact, the help that you've made to other people's lives?
Oh, certainly. Yeah. See that every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would love to know, for both of you, your most cherished memory here at the house.
Most cherished. Do you want to go first?
At this house or
Any of the Ozanam House facilities or any VincentCare facility, most cherished memory?
I suppose for me was doing the Bristol course. I really enjoyed that, and that was a great memory. Yeah, I always remember that, and meeting all the other volunteers as well. So that was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. I think that's about it. I'm sorry.
No, perfect. Thank you. I would love to do it one day. And what about you?
Well, it's hard to pick my most cherished memory here. Probably like him, it's been like, I've been here 7 years, 8 years maybe. So I've got lots of things along the way. And I've just got to acknowledge the flags we got up, the trans flag, the intersex flag, all the gay flag, getting them up on the walls. And they were actually told, they're going to come down after the weekend. I thought, no, they're not. And they didn't. They're up, and they're staying up. And I'm the official decorator.
Chief
for this,
decorator?
Chief decorator for this place. And so every time there's an event, I get to be a bit creative. I had bingo group here, with Sue. That sort of stopped. That's great. I've always wanted to be a bingo caller. I can't be as colourful in my callings here. It's pretty, it's a different sort of place, but it's a great start.
Yeah.
And being the VincentCare Volunteer of the Year for 2019, I think it was 2019. Yeah. So that was so unexpected, and that was one of the best things.
Tell us, how'd you get the phone call?
Well, I actually just got sprung on me one day. Louise or Lauren just said that you've been nominated, and I just thought that's wonderful. Okay. And that was the year of the Rainbow Tick as well. So it was like a lot of stuff was going on there.
Yeah. So it all came together.
Yeah. So I definitely backed the right horse volunteering with VincentCare Victoria.
And so, are there any other random activities that you've loved as being part of the house? Maybe not memories, but favourite activity, that event you've been involved in?
Oh, there's so many. I can't really think of. I can't just choose one.
You can't choose one.
I can't choose one. No.
Yeah. Every time you walk in the door.
Yeah, every time I walk in the door, I see a smile on my face.
Kim, are there any? Damien, are there any other?
Oh well, I think it really comes back to everything comes back to the people. Like getting to know when the Homeless Resource Centre's open, and I'm here regularly, and I remember people's names, and you can go up and you can have little chats with people, and that's really great. It's such a privilege to be able to, and there's coffee. I mean, so it's great.
Well, Melbournians.
Yeah.
Well, they were all. I think that. Are there any final thoughts that you wanted to share that we haven't covered from today? No, I think we can throw to the floor to ask any particular questions that you might have of Kim or Damien that we haven't discussed.
Thanks very much for your honesty and the warmth of your presentation. It was just spine-tingling. Damien, two questions. Firstly, you were talking about, I think you made the statement, it was less about me and more about giving. Are you able to sort of explore that? And the second question is, can you tell us a little bit more about your sleeve, the design and everything, if you can?
Yeah, well, I think it really was about me starting here. I need structure. I need connection. I need something to do. And that was very much going in. It was all about me. And then I need cigarettes, because I used to smoke cigarettes, so I bumped cigarettes at the old cinema. And now, and then before I knew it, it was very much about just busying myself doing stuff, and it was all about it was both. It really was both sides. You know. So I got my needs met, but I also was doing something for other people, and that was so important because I'd never done anything pro-social to other people, with other people. So that was great. And my sleeve, I wanted the pride flag down my arm, and I wanted sort of something to represent who I am. I'm getting a little bit older, so I wanted a little bit of attention. So I think this is just what I needed. And I wanted the blood dripping off it to represent the LGBTIQ people who've been bashed for choosing to be who they are, or murdered for trying to be who they are. So the blood was just a nice little touch that I think just lifts it and tells a bit of a story. Tells our story, my story, LGBTIQ people's story. So
Any other questions out there?
No questions?
Come on, you must have a couple.
So what do you think next for both of you? Is there any next coming for you in terms of volunteering or work, or what's the next 12 months looking like?
Hopefully it's fantastic as the last 12 months.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully we come out of COVID and open up. Yeah,
Yep.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
And see what that leads.
Something more normal.
So normal, back to normal.
I think my next is the same. Back to normal. Back to the Homeless Resource Centre open. Back to bingo groups every other week. Back to where we were at before. That's and just building on that. But I mean, before we just get it open again. That's really important, because sandwiches out the window are great,
Yeah.
but it's nothing like this. It's nothing like it used to be.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah.
And how often do you volunteer? Or how whenever?
I can't even remember.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been years. It feels like over a year ago. I used to have one day I was serving coffee on the Monday, and then on the following Monday I'd be a support to the was it the following Monday or the following
Yeah.
some other day. The next time I was out on the floor supporting the new people on the machines.
Yep.
So
So it's regular
Yeah,
work. Yeah. And how often were you coming in?
I think I'm worrying as often as I could.
Yeah, quite
in the early
regularly.
stages.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
That was really good. Yeah.
I can probably see a lot of people in the audience just going, yep, can't wait to come back and get back to your regular structure and help out where we can. With that, I might wrap up.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. We all need to give a big round of applause.